Alright, what's up everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one today. I'm very excited to talk about this video. Because today we're talking about the Orlando Magic, the team that has been surprising the league. They are doing amazing right now. We're going to talk about the success, early in the year. Again, we're not even December yet, but they've been very, very good. And they've been surprising everybody. And I think we need to talk about them in depth today. Thank you guys for views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. And yeah, links to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the Orlando Magic right now, they're currently 13-5, sitting at second in the Eastern Conference. Crazy. They're currently the hottest team in the league as well. They're on an 8-game win streak. Just insane what they're doing right now. I'm saying what they're doing. They're balling. All these young players, the coach, it's just everything's clicking right now in Orlando. I want to read some stats to show what this team really is about. Look at their offensive numbers. Their offense isn't anything crazy. Look at their offensive numbers. Their 13th offensive rating. They're 14th in points per game, so kind of average. They're actually bottom 5 in the league in field goals attempted per game, which means they're not getting a lot of shots per game. They're actually one of the worst three-point shooting teams as well. They're bottom 5 in the league. They're 28th in three-pointers made and three-pointers attempted. They're only better than the Lakers and Pistons shooting from three. They're 19th in three-point percentage as well. But they do get to the free throw line a lot, though. They're 4th in free throws made per game. They're 2nd actually in free throws attempted per game. Only the Sixers shoot more free throws per game than the Magic. Their free throw percentage isn't that great. They're 20th in assists. They're 26th in turnovers. So yeah, they turn the ball over a lot, but that's expected because they're a young team, and they also are missing their starting point guard, Markelle Fultz. But yeah, these offensive numbers, they're 15th in pace, 15th in true shooting percentage, 18th in effective field goal percentage. So their offense, looking at it, if you didn't know what this team's record was, you saw their offense, you would think they're like an average, maybe like a 8-9 team, something like that. Their offense isn't anything to brag about. It's okay. They don't shoot the ball well from three. They shoot a lot of free throws. They turn the ball over a lot. Stuff like that. But what they really hold their mark and hold their hat on, and why they're such a great team, is their defense. Reading some of their defensive numbers, they have the 3rd best defense in the league, defensive rating. The only teams that are better than them defensively are Minnesota and Boston. They're 2nd in steals per game. They average over 9 steals per game, which is only behind the LA Clippers. The Clippers are the only team that averages more steals per game than Orlando. They're top 5 in opponent field goals made. They're 4th in opponent field goals made per game. 2nd in opponent field goals attempted per game, which means they're top 5 in both not letting other teams make field goals and not letting other teams shoot and attempt field goals. Opponents only shoot a little bit less than 84 shots a game against the Magic. That's 2nd. Only the Knicks allow less field goals attempted. They're 5th in opponent three-pointers attempted per game, which means they're not giving up a lot of three-pointers. They're also top 10 in opponents three-pointers made per game. They're the best team at not giving up rebounds as well. They're the best team in the league in opponents rebounds per game. They're best in the league in not giving up offensive rebounds. Don't give up less than 9 offensive rebounds per game, which is the best in the league. And they're 2nd in defensive opponent rebounds per game. Only the Suns allow less defensive rebounds, but yeah, they're the best team at not giving up rebounds. Even though looking at their rebounding numbers, they're like in the middle, around like maybe 17, 16, something like that. But they're not giving up rebounds, which is big to close out defensive possessions. They're 2nd in opponent assists per game, meaning teams aren't getting a lot of assists and not moving the ball around, spreading around against this team. Only the Rockets allow less assists per game. And then the big stat, tied for 1st in opponent turnovers per game, meaning they're getting out and they're forcing a lot of turnovers. They're the best team in the league in forcing turnovers. They average almost 17 opponent turnovers per game, which makes sense because they're also 2nd in the league in percentage of points off turnovers. Meaning, yeah, you look at their offense and how average their offense is. You're like, so how are they winning these games? Turnovers and getting points off turnovers. They're one of the top teams. They're 2nd team in the league in how many points they're getting off turnovers. Only the Bulls will have a higher percentage of points off turnovers. So, yeah, the Magic force a lot of turnovers. Tied with Portland, actually. Portland also forces 17 turnovers a game, which is very interesting to me. But, yeah, Orlando, their defense, man. Looking at a lot of their defensive numbers, they're around the top 5, top 10 in a lot of numbers. Their defense is really settling in, and like it kind of makes sense. Well, it kind of makes sense. They do have a lot of length, a lot of defenders. Paolo's a solid defender. Franz Wagner's a good defender. Wendell Carter Jr., even though he's undersized, still is getting it done. Goga Badase, who's been the starting center, solid down low. Mo Wagner is a big guy. Their guards, Anthony Black, long wingspan. Jalen Suggs makes his mark on the defensive end. They have a lot of defenders, but you wouldn't expect them to be this elite of a defensive team. You expect them to be, all right, a good team, maybe like 11, 12, but you don't expect them to be the third best defense in the league. Is amazing. And they're 13-5. They're really thriving off it. Looking at their streak that they're on, they beat the Bulls twice in a row. They gave up 33 points in the first half in back-to-back games, only giving up 33 points in a half. The Bulls did come back, but they won those games. Paolo hit a game winner in one of them, and the second one, Franz Wagner hit a big and one. Then they beat on the Pacers. It was only a 12-point win, but it was a lot bigger than that, which is big because the Indiana Pacers are the best offense in the league, and the Magic just said, stop that. Then they beat the Raptors by almost 20. They beat the Nuggets, the reigning champs, by 5 in a very tight game. Then they go out and blow out the Celtics by 17. Then they beat the Hornets and Wizards the last 2 games. So they got some quality wins in this 8-game win streak. Now they're just pacing the bottom of the league and just beat on them. They're getting quality wins. I mean, beating the Celtics, beating the Nuggets, beating the Pacers. Those are 3 pretty solid wins. So yeah, the Magic are really here. They're winning these games. They're defending. They're locking up. The most points allowed during the stretch was last night. They gave 120 to the Wizards. But at that point, they were just kind of like, yeah, we already won. So you can have your 120 points. But yeah, the Celtics only had 96 points on them. The Bulls back-to-back days only didn't score 100. So their defense is really locking in, and they're playing super well. And the way they're doing it, looking at their players individually, they're doing it kind of as a team. It's not like there's one guy carrying them and then everyone else is getting where they fit in. Everybody's playing. Paolo Banchero hasn't really had a big jump this year, which is really surprising because coming into the year, we all thought, okay, Paolo this year maybe could be all-star. Paolo hasn't really been better. Paolo's kind of been the same his rookie year to this year. Looking at his stats, his points per game actually gone down. It's gone down from 20 to 19. His rebounds have gone down. His assists went up, which is better. His assists went from 3.7 to 4.6. He's got more steals, more blocks per game, and his shooting has gotten a lot better. As always, actually also taking less shots per game. Last year he took over 15.5 shots per game. This year he's only taking 14 a game, but he's not going to be down. He's shooting 48% from the field. He's shooting 43% from 3 on 1 less attempt from last year. His free throw percentage has gone down. He's also taking less free throws per game. So yeah, he hasn't really taken a big jump, but he's still been really, really good because he's playing more at like a team. He's had his games here and there. He's had a 30-point game here and there, a 27-point game winner against the Bulls, stuff like that. But he hasn't really taken off. But that's okay. It's working because the rest of the team is finding their ways, and he's contributing to winning in other ways besides going to get 25 a night. Which eventually that's probably what he's going to become. But right now, it's very nice to see that early in his career at 21 years old still. He's only a second year in the league, and he's already kind of being molded or kind of okay with not being the guy or not being the 28 point per game scorer if we're winning games. He's contributing on the defensive end. He's passing the ball. He's doing all those things, taking less shots and all that stuff. Franz Wagner, he had kind of a shaky start to the year shooting wise, but he has really stepped up. Including last night, he had 30. He's had 30, I think, twice so far this year. He's been the leading scorer for the team. He's averaging 20 a game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. His shooting has gone up. He shot 46% from the field. He's only shooting 31% from 3. He's shooting 82% from the free throw line, so the 3-point shot definitely needs to get a little bit more comfortable with. But yeah, the last few games he's been balling. He's very good. He might be the all-star on this team if we're talking about it. Franz has been really, really good. And then the bench. I love the bench of the Magic as well. They have one of the best. I think they're top 5 bench points per game. Cole Anthony, as a 6th man, the last 2 years has been great. He's averaging 15, 4, and 4 this year, shooting 44% from the field, 37% from 3. He had a 30-point game. I think against that Hornets game the other day. I think it was on Sunday, I want to say. Or Monday, he had 30 in that game. He's been good. Mo Wagner, he had a big game against the Boston Celtics, but he's averaging 12 and 4, shooting 63% from the field and 35% from 3. He's bringing a lot of energy, on both ends. He's been a good player. Gary Harris, the vet, he's shooting 44% from 3. He's the best 3-point shooter on the team. Joe Ingles, the vet, he's 36 years old. He doesn't play a whole lot of minutes anymore, but he still comes in and gives you 4 and 3 assists, shooting 41% from the field, 37% from 3. Like the bench has been a huge thing. Jonathan Isaac is playing basketball. It's a huge thing. But when he has played, he's giving you some good things, averaging 6 and 4, a block, almost a steal per game, shooting 43% of the field. The 3-point shooting is not there yet, but at least he's on the court playing basketball, and he's defending very well too. So that's big. But the bench is really good for Orlando. Jalen Suggs has been a huge kind of piece for them this year. The first 2 years of his career, of course, he was a top 5 pick, so big expectations on him. At Gonzaga, having a great career, high school having a great career, coming to the Magic, and hasn't really hit those expectations of being a top 5 pick. In the first 2 years in the league, we were all kind of like, okay, what is Jalen Suggs? Like, what is he? What does he hold his hat on? What is his role on this team? Is he going to be able to fit and stick to a team? And he's been great this year. He's found his identity as a defensive-minded guard. Like the energy, Marcus Smart kind of, in a way. I've seen that comparison being thrown around. But yeah, kind of in that way. He's the heart and soul guy. Heart and soul, come out, lock up one of the best guards in the league. Like, lock up your guard, bring a lot of heart, a lot of hustle, a lot of energy. And offense gets in when he fits in. But defense is where he holds his heart at. And he's been good. He's averaging 13, 4, and 3. Almost 2 steals per game as well. Shooting 45% from the field, 37% from 3. The shot has been falling as well. But he's a heart and soul. He's playing like he's the heart and soul of this team. And that is huge. Goga Bitadze has stepped in with Wendell Carter Jr. being hurt. He stepped in. And he's giving you 7 and 6 with a block per game, shooting 56% from the field. Anthony Black, their rookie, their top 10 pick from this year. He stepped in. And he's giving you some good minutes. The stats don't look crazy. But he's one of those guys where he affects the game in many different ways besides just going to get 20. Like, he's a guy that, dives for loose balls, plays good defense, gets the one more pass, like stuff like that. That's what he does. He's been doing pretty solid in his minutes. So the Magic are playing really, really well with this young team. A lot of these guys haven't really been in a situation like this before. Like, the only guys that really been in the playoffs and been on a winning team are Gary Harris in Denver and Joe Ingles in Utah. But even then, they're not like crazy huge starters on this team. They're just around to help. But everyone else, all these other guys haven't really won a lot in the league. Like all these guys, most of these guys have been in the Magic for a few years. They haven't won anything. Markelle was on the Sixers. By that point, he wasn't really playing. He was worried with his injury. Wendell Carter Jr. was on the Bulls. They weren't good. Goga Bitadze was on the Pacers. They weren't that good. Like, this is the first time a lot of these guys are experiencing a situation like this and winning games. And they're doing a really good job at it right now. And a lot of credit to Jamal Mosley as well. He's the coach. He's the guy for this team. He just fits their identity. That rough, tough defense, that kind of mentality. He has set into this team, and it's working right now. You saw it last year, the year before. He is just really good. He's the guy for this team. The Magic made the right hire with Jamal Mosley. But the Magic, they're surprising a lot of people. They're surprising me as well. And I was a big advocate for the Magic coming into this season because for some reason last year I watched a lot of Magic games. I don't know why. They're always just on for me. And they're one of my favorite teams to watch because even though they didn't have a good record, they still were competitive. Especially if you look at the numbers from December or January on, they were a good team. It was just really the first October, November, a little bit of December of the year where they just were still trying to figure out things and injuries and stuff like that, where they just were not good. But if you look at December on, they were a 500 team. They were a really good defense. Their offense was all right. They were winning games. They're beating teams like the Celtics and stuff like that, staying in competitive games. If they would have played like that the entire year, they probably would have been a play-in team. If they would have just kept that entire year, just the first 2 months of the year, they kind of were just still didn't know what to do, still were figuring out things. But from then on, they've been really good. I made a video last year at the end of the year, my look-in series I do at the end of every season. I'm going to start doing at the end of every year. Last year's my first year doing it, where I give every team an individual video about my thoughts at the end of a season and then what they could do in the off season and stuff like that, what their expectations are, what could be for the next year. And with the Magic video, a lot of it I talked about how this team could be the team that could jump and surprise a lot of people next year. I didn't expect to jump like this. I didn't expect them a second seed in the East type jump. I expect them to be, I didn't expect them to win 50 games or anything. I expect them to, come out, probably be a 8, 9, maybe 7 at the best. Just look a lot more competitive, look a lot better. and I feel like they weren't really getting a lot of, you know, like attention like a lot of the other young teams were. That's why they could surprise a lot of people. You know, I'll put a card up here or something if you want to go back and watch it. That was like, dang, like a few months ago. That was like in April. And even during the offseason, I talked about a lot, like how this Magic team, my bold prediction, one of my predictions was like the Magic are going to make the playoffs. I predicted them to be, I think, like the 9 or 8 seed this year and be a playoff team. But I did not expect to jump like this soon. Like, I didn't expect them to go from, well, last year they won 34 games. I didn't expect them to go from 34 wins to top team in the East like that. You know, I thought it was going to be a gradual 34. Maybe this year they win like 40, maybe 39. Then next year maybe they can get to 44 and then they'll take the jump. No, they went right from 34 to second seed in the East like that. And again, it's still, we're not even in December yet. So are they going to stay at second in the East for now for the entire year? Probably not, because teams like the Bucks are starting to get going. The Heat are still there, the Sixers. So, you know, they're not going to stay like this probably for the rest of the year. And if they do, that's insane. But just looking at this team, like, you kind of have to take them a little serious. Even though, again, their offense still needs to figure some things out. And they have nothing but time to figure out the offense. You know, but their defense, if their defense can stay like this for the entirety of the year, they're going to be a tough team to go against. Because even though they're young, they don't have a lot of experience and stuff like that, they're coming in and locking people down. They're coming in, locking you down, forcing turnovers, getting out in transition and running. And they're like gritty, aggressive, Jalen Suggs, clapping at defensive styles and stuff like that. Like, that's a team you don't want to face, you know? So yeah, all credit to the Orlando Magic. Gotta see how this keeps going. You know, honestly, I was gonna wait to make this video because the next 2 games, they play the Wizards again, and then they play the Nets. They could go on a 10-game win streak, and if they did go on a 10-game win streak, that's why I was gonna make this video. But, you know, I was so excited to talk about this team. And with the Suns losing last night, losing that win streak, I was like, you know what? They have their hottest team in the league right now. Let's do it now. Give you the Magic their love and credit right now. I want to see how it keeps going. I'm still gonna be locked in and watching. I'm still gonna be seeing, you know, how this team gets better and better as the course of the season. They also are missing. Also, that's a big thing. They're missing 2 starters. Markelle Fultz and Wendell Carter have only played 5 games of this team. They have not played throughout the entire win streak, and they're still winning games. So imagine when Markelle Fultz and Wendell Carter come back, or 2 big pieces to this team, that they're gonna be even better. Hopefully, they're gonna be even better. You know, but yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications to also like that. I really appreciate it. We have said a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.